Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about recruitment, marketing and optics within the British Democrats. I'll discuss the need for treating recruitment as a sales process, some principles and psychology around this, and conclude with some suggestions which I believe could improve our results moving forward. As the situation for our people in our country worsens, as the frequency by which they are treated as second-class citizens increases, dispossessed of their inheritance, of which our ancestors fought to build, oftentimes offering up their life in the process. The need for our party to offer political refuge, importantly representation to those dispossessed and ignored by the mainstream parties grows. To be within the minds of the people who need us, to be on their radar, we must ensure that our recruitment and marketing process is a well-oiled machine, incorporating systems thinking, analytics, well-thought-out marketing, and consistent, appealing optics. For anyone unfamiliar with these terms, let me explain. Systems thinking is where we take an activity such as recruitment and we separate the elements which make up the activity. In this sense, recruitment is a system. Marketing is simply everything that we do to encourage a person to join us or vote for us. Our marketing can be delivered through various mediums. Optics refer to the perception that the public have about our party. Optics do not always reflect what a party actually stands for. Optics can be manipulated and disguised so that public opinion is not always reflective of a party's manifesto. In order to make improvements to our marketing and process of gaining new members, or as I'm referring to it, recruitment, we are required to take a business approach to our efforts. Every business needs customers and staff to be successful. In the same sense, every political party needs voters or customers and people to take on roles and responsibilities within the party, staff. To increase the numbers of both, we have to market to gain the interests of prospects and then convert those prospects effectively. A good place to start would be to begin with understanding what goes on in a human being's mind when making a purchase. A purchase in this case would be to join, donate, or vote for this party. A human being makes a buying decision emotionally before they ever buy intellectually. They buy emotionally and then they justify that decision intellectually. When making the decision, they are either moving away from pain or they are moving towards pleasure. The two different systems of thought involved in this decision-making process were written about in Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow. The self-proclaimed master of propaganda, Edward Bernays, nephew of the world-renowned psychologist Sigmund Freud, used this process of the mind with great success in the early 1900s. Bernays was employed by the American government to manufacture consent among the public for entering the First World War. To achieve this, he created slogans and marketing campaigns that incorporated his uncle's psychoanalytic theories about human behaviour. His system used images and slogans which appealed to the public's emotional brain, and then he included facts and figures which appealed to the rational side of the brain used to justify a decision. After the First World War, Bernays went on to work for some of the largest corporations in the world. The term used to describe his work, propaganda, was later changed to public relations, due to the term propaganda gaining some negative connotations, and eventually being used as a pejorative term. His work inspired a lot of the slogans and marketing tactics that we see today. How many times have you seen or read a headline which elicits an emotional response followed by the words, "experts say"? This is used as an appeal to authority and pacifies the rational side of the brain. Slogans such as "Make America Great Again" and "Yes We Can," I'm sure Bernays would be proud of. Political slogans often give no indication of what a political party or candidate will do once elected. They merely paint an emotional seed in the mind, which the reader or viewer then uses to project their own ideal outcome. They will then defend this projected outcome and even encourage others to support it. It's their ideal outcome, and the slogan merely confirms that the candidate or party that they have chosen to vote for will implement it. This happens regardless of whether the party's manifesto is contradictory, given that the majority of people will take the path of least resistance and make a decision based on slogans and optics rather than diligent research into a party's manifesto. If you were to ask the average voter which party would stop the demographic replacement of the British people, they would likely say Nigel Farage. This is down to optics rather than policy, given that Nigel Farage supports one in, one out demographic replacement. A Snap poll for the Guardian newspaper in 2010 found that 73% of people do not read party manifestos. A marketing or sales funnel is a system used in business to track the acquisition of customers. A funnel is divided into segments starting at the top, which would begin with a first interaction, often called a touch. This could be through a leaflet or a media post. The middle section is arrived at by the prospect from a strong call to action displayed on the first touch. This may involve promo videos or a series of emails. The last section is the actual sale. A prospect is what is known as a buyer's journey. By capturing contact information and using a funnel to nudge prospects closer to making a decision, I believe we will increase our conversions. During the 2024 election campaign, the Labour Party spent £2.4 million on social media and a further £900,000 on local adverts. They spent large amounts of money on marketing and creative agencies, as well as publicists. We currently do not have the budget to match this type of spending, which further highlights the need to ensure that the marketing we are putting out is part of an efficient system, because every penny counts. Words are powerful. They create realities within people's own minds, realities which oftentimes aren't reflective of the truth. We must use all the weapons at our disposal in the same way that our ideological opponents do. It is important to remember that quality will always beat quantity. In terms of party optics, I think that it is right that we speak about what we are against in relation to how the country currently stands, but we must ensure that we convey in our messaging everything that we intend to build, and the outcomes we will offer those who vote for us and join us. As the strain on our infrastructure grows, along with the diminishing wealth and prosperity of our nation's inhabitants, the public's apathy and tolerance of the way things are will also diminish. As the exchange of comfortable living standards for liberal ideology ends, public anger and frustration will increase. The public will become energised by this anger and will opt for radical alternatives to the status quo. We at the British Democrats must ensure that we are front and centre to direct this energy into legitimate political means, as opposed to what we saw this year when frustration and anger spilled over into violence. This energy came quickly and then left just as fast. Ultimately, it had no direction, and it also had no end goal or aims. On the back of this disorder, we have a government looking to crush the rebellious spirit that exists in others. It has taken the opportunity given to engage in show trials to set an example to others. Things in this country will likely get worse before they get better, as the current system and political ideology takes its natural course towards failure. Its proponents and beneficiaries will desperately attempt to save it. They will double down on two-tier policing in an attempt to stop others speaking up. As we gain in popularity, they will also attack us. We have seen this in Germany with the AfD, and some of you will have experienced this with other national parties in the past. Ultimately, these attempts will fail, and every activist in this party should take heart from this. Your tireless efforts, which I am in admiration of, will not be in vain. As at the British Democrats, we are not merely engaging in the worship of ashes, we seek to preserve a flame. That flame is Britain, its people, its history, and importantly, its future. Thank you.